Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Hey, it's Jeff McNichol down here at Mom's Music, 1900 Melwood Avenue. I was just thinking, when I was a kid, the magic was at Frankfort Avenue, the Mom's Music at Frankfort Avenue, and I used to beg people to get a ride down there just to hang out with the guys and see all the cool gear. Now that I'm the owner of this store, it's like a dream come true. We're recreating the magic with the vibe that we used to have at the old store. We're carrying all the gear that you're going to possibly want. We're giving you the outstanding service and personal attention that you deserve. Yeah, so we've got the great guitar shop here. We're carrying USA Fender, USA Gibson, Paul Reed Smith, Gretsch, Jackson, Charvel. Anything you could possibly want, we're going to have it for you. Mom's is, and always will be, Louisville's music store.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What is going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Today, I am sitting down with a couple of the members of the band Bone from Austin, Texas. Fucking Texas, where everything is fucking bigger, even the metal, right? But before we get into talking with John and Ethan from the band Bone, I am going to talk to you guys here about my last weekend. So, as you all know by now that I did not get a chance to make it down to Hell's Heroes in Houston over the past weekend, I ended up going to California instead to visit a friend, and it was a much needed, relaxing time I could have. It was super fucking rad. Thanks, Courtney, for taking me around and driving me all around LA like 3 days in a row and, you know, shit like that. It was super fun. I had such a good time from everything, you know, going to see the cemeteries like Hollywood Forever and Pierce Brothers Westwood and Forest Lawn of Hollywood. It was so fucking rad going to see Dio's grave, Judy Garland, Janet Leigh, Jack Klugman, Walter Matthau, you know, Frank Zappa, so many awesome people, and how can we not forget and not say Lemmy of all fucking people? Fuck yes. Got to do the full Lemmy tour. I got to see where he lived, again, got to see the Rainbow Bar and Grill, where they have now Lemmy's Lounge, of course, which is the outside bar area, and I got to see where Lemmy is spending his final, you know, days here on this planet. Super rad fucking times. I'm definitely going to have to plan another trip out to LA again. Got to go to Amoeba Records for Record Store Day. Oh my gosh, you talk about crazy shit. The place is huge to begin with, but I know they downscaled from the last store that they had, right? But it's absolutely fucking insane. Like, so many people. And we went late in the afternoon for this. Many people were in there. It was insane. Even at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I did get to pick up the new Portals album from Kirk Hammett, the instrumental deal that he released. I haven't got a chance to listen to it yet because I had to mail it back to myself here, and I haven't got it yet. I think I'm supposed to be getting it sometime today. So, fuck yeah, I'm excited for that. And I got a few other things in there. I got me an Anvil CD that was deeply discounted. And that was harsh. I think we kind of had a chuckle about that. And, I love Anvil to death, but, still, it was kind of rough. Picked up the new Night Demon album, which is a collection of songs. It's this 4 singles that they put out over 2020 and along with a few other things. Actually, this will probably be a good point right here to bring that up. We're going to go check in with Jason Gardner in the Heavy Metal Wasteland, and he's going to talk about the new Night Demon. So let's check in with Jason.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Wasteland. Today, I want to go back about a month and talk about the new Night Demon compilation record called Year of the Demon, released on Century Media Records. This is a collection of a series of 7-inch singles released during the dark times of 2020. Each single had a B-side cover included that was only heard by fans who bought the singles. This compilation includes the whole collection of studio and live cuts. I'll have to say, it was a real joy waking up on a random Friday morning back in 2020 with a new Night Demon song to look forward to listening to all day. We really didn't know what this project was going to be, if it was going to be a new album or if it was just singles being released. And the band didn't let anybody in on the secret either, which made it fun. The lineup on this recording consists of Jarvis Leatherby on vocals and bass, Dusty Squires on drums, and Armand John Anthony on guitar. It is the same lineup since their second album, Darkness Remains. In all, there was a total of 5 releases, although one of the releases was lost, and who knows if the batch of 7-inch vinyls will ever be found. One of the records was mine, and it is really disappointing I won't be able to collect all of them for the completionist part of me. None of the B-sides have ever been released to the public before this compilation, and includes covers of such bands as obscure new wave of British heavy metal band McGriff doing Fast Bikes. Also included are Iron Maiden, Thin Lizzy, Sirith Ungol featuring the singer Tim Baker, and the Scorpions. The Scorpion songs actually feature early era guitarist Uli Jon Roth, giving any doubter of this band how legit of a player in heavy metal this band has become in a short amount of time. The subject matter on the 4 new songs veer away from the usual Night Demon topics like the occult, serial killers, and unabashed love of heavy metal, and instead tackles some personal subjects like mental health, political deception, and the demise of the music industry. My favorite track of the 4 new ones is probably Kill the Pain. It was recorded by the legendary producer Flemming Rasmussen of early Metallica fame at his Sweet Silence studio in Copenhagen, Denmark. The riff is so damn good and catchy, you cannot resist cranking it up. I met this band during their first US tour, so I take a little bit of pride in how far they have come, and I was fortunate enough to see them premiere a couple of these songs live last year during the Steel and Stone Fest here in my hometown of Asheville, North Carolina. Also, if you'd like to hear them, you can listen to the Night Demon podcast, Steel and Stone episode, to hear most of the songs they played that night live, which was super killer. The Steel and Stone Fest also included bands I've reviewed here on the Metal Forge and Oblivion Throne and Witch Pit. More Night Demon is planned for later in the year, and I for one am ready for it. While a new song or two would have been awesome to include on this compilation, this should hold over the Night Demon faithful until a new album releases. If you missed these releases on vinyl, I highly recommend checking this out for the newly released B-sides alone. Also, I do think these have been remixed and remastered from the singles, giving you another reason to check it out. A few different limited edition vinyl options are available to purchase, so grab one if you're a Night Demon fan, and be sure to check out the videos for Empire's Fall and Visteria. On a side note, I really couldn't believe how much I agreed with what Jarvis had to say on the song Visteria. I really don't think I could have said it any better myself. There are some making of videos and playthrough videos as well on the Night Demon YouTube channel. Well friends, that brings us to the end of this edition of The Wasteland, and I hope you are finding something new and worthwhile to listen to because of it. As always, until next time friends, stay safe and stay heavy.
Jason, man, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I am really enjoying these album reviews by you and Athena, the Heavy Metal Wasteland and Metal Mischief. It is so fucking cool. Yes, I dig it. Before we get into the show, I do want to say fuck hackers, because as you all know, my Facebook and Instagram got hacked on Monday night, and it took me till sometime Tuesday to get my Facebook account back and all of that stuff, and it took me until last night to get the Instagram account back. So fuck hackers and fuck that bullshit. Let's go ahead and get into this episode. This is from Bone. This is These Keys.
Let the sun
All right, Metalheads, I'm being joined here on the line with John and Ethan from the band Bone in Austin, Texas. Dudes, what's going on?
Oh, just enjoying the nice weather and hoping it stays this way with a nice skip to the summer that burns us to death. That'd be good.
Right.
Oh, you know it's coming.
It's coming. Next, maybe an hour from now.
Yeah, the last time I actually toured through Texas, it's been quite some time, but we did it in August. And that was just like, shit, why did I pick August to come through Texas?
Yeah, that's an experience. I imagine, the only people that move here from outside that come here and think it's nicer with the heat would probably be from like Iran or something. They're like, wow, this is really cool. I was like, well, I guess you're used to 140 degrees. So yeah.
Right. And with Austin, are you considered West Texas at that point?
No, Central.
Okay, Central Texas.
Central,
yeah. And because I know once you get past there and you're going west, it's even worse, it feels like.
Yeah, it gets a little more desert.
Especially when you're like out near like El Paso and shit like that.
Yeah. I used to live out like all the way out West Texas and even Carlsbad, New Mexico. And it's just like an old Western movie. Tumbleweeds, literally tumbleweeds rolling across the road.
Oh, yeah. I was just in L.A. over the past weekend, and we were up Central California, and it was crazy because, like, all the tumbleweeds were still alive currently. It hadn't got hot enough to kill them yet. So my friend who had just moved there about a year ago, she was just like, I've never seen them rolling across the ground yet. I was like, yeah, give it time. It's coming.
I've never, yeah, and I've never stopped to think about what those plants actually are when they're alive.
It's sage.
It's sage? Okay.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that in my life.
Yeah, it's sage. So,
holy crap.
Go ahead and harvest some and put it in your sausage for your breakfast and in your Italian food. There you go.
Man, you just gave me a use for it. I've never thought about that.
Yeah, because there's not much else use for it.
No, just singing songs about it and put it on your food. Cool.
Absolutely. So tell everybody out in Metal Forge land about Bone.
Go ahead, Ethan.
So we're just a bunch of Texas boys that, we all just knew each other through different bands in the music scene here in Austin. We'd all kind of... I'd been with John... How long... When was the first time I started playing with you, John? 2013?
I think it was 13, and with Trauma Concept back then. Yeah.
Yeah, so John and I played all the way back then. That was actually my first gig playing bass because I needed a bass player, and the guitar player at the time wouldn't stop bugging me, and I didn't play bass at the time, so I just picked it up, and here we go. And fast forward, I had a buddy, Eric, the guitar player for Bone. We sat down, and we kind of had this idea for this band that just, because we all have different influences, and we just kind of wanted to throw everything we had at this band, and then we just ended up hiring Stan, the drummer. We knew him through other bands in the local area. He's in a band called Pure Control, and hit him up, started jamming. We wrote a few songs. We had another singer at one point that just didn't work out, but I called John up because I'd worked with him back in 2013, and he came through, started doing his thing, and it worked out. And since then, we've just been writing, just having fun with it, man. We don't necessarily have a formula. That's kind of what makes it work the most, I think. We don't have like a certain way that we do things. We just start writing something, and then we throw things out, fill the whole kitchen sink on it, and out comes a song. It's pretty fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a real lack of rules. That's what I like.
And yeah, fucking rock and metal should be that way. It should be no rules, right?
Music should be that way, yeah.
Yeah,
all
definitely.
Music. And, I mean, everybody's favorites came from influences, a bunch of influences before them. And I don't want to sound like an old fuddy-duddy, but with the advent of the internet, what happened was people started ragging on guys that didn't sound like what was going on all the time, even like more than usual. And so all the guys who were doing this very mildly successful thing now, they all sound very similar. And I always tell my friends, the reason I don't buy a lot of bands that are out right now is because they sound like two laptops fucking. Right. And I don't want to hear it. I'm like, learn how to play your drums. I'm like, hire a drummer or learn how to play the drums, but you need drums, man. I don't want to hear a typewriter, shitting all over a record. I don't want to hear that stuff. So, we did the right thing, and we got a drummer who plays drums.
Definitely. And I totally see where you're going with that, because I know people who have recorded albums with, drum machines and plugins and shit like that. And
oh, sure.
That's usually the first thing that everybody jumps on. It's like, hey, how about instead of you doing that next time, how about I record your drums for you or whatever? Which is totally cool, because I know that's happened for a lot of people out there. But yeah, I totally agree. The whole drum machine thing.
It's funny to me you hear it so many times, and you talk to some of these guys before they record their albums, and you don't want to go running around paddling on anybody, because that's not cool. But very often you're not even hearing their drummer's drums. You're hearing a plug-in of like Meshuggah's drummer.
Right.
You're literally hearing his drum set from software. And these guys were like, oh man, you got such a sick sound. I was like, well, yeah, it's sick. It's very, very well done by a producer who handled Meshuggah. It's not that guy's drum kit at all. And you go see him live, and it sounds like, a bunch of Folgers cans. So
right. It's something completely different.
Yeah, something awful.
But I want to touch on something here really fast that Ethan had said a minute ago. He said that there was a guitar player that was bugging him to do something, and you played guitar at that time as well, so you went to bass.
Yes, sir.
I've kind of got a similar story in my musical career with that. When we were all middle school kids and saying, hey, let's start a band, everybody around the lunch table was like, well, what do you want to do? I want to play guitar. What do you want to do? I want to play guitar. What do you want to do? I want to play guitar. And by the time we got like 3 guitar players in, and it was my turn in the circle to sit there and say, hey, what do you want to do? I was like, I'm going to play bass, because, I already knew how to play a little bit of guitar, but I just wanted to do something different, because it seems like everybody wanted to be a guitar player.
That's a common problem.
Everyone and their grandma is a guitar player, especially in Austin. Like, you have dudes that can sit there and sweep for days, and it's cool, but it's like, okay, what makes you unique, And then I was always just a bedroom guitar player. I sat in my bedroom when I was a teenager all the time, and I learned fucking anything from Ozzy to Motley Crue to fucking Metallica. I just sit there and I just learn shit. And like I said, I had all my guitar gear. I had a cheap $30 bass I got when I was like 14, and it eventually bugged me enough to come try out. And I learned a Testament song to start. We did a Testament cover, and
Low.
Low. And then I just from there ended up loving the bass, man. Like, it's work with that instrument way better than I ever did with guitar.
Absolutely. I can totally relate and dig down on that. That's same here. There's something about, to me, being a bass player where you find what works best for you. And, like with guitar playing, like you said, there's guys out there who can sweep for days and shit like that. Or they've got some kind of like super classical training, and it's just like way over my head. But like with bass, to me, it's like it's all about feel and style.
Exactly. And when I started playing the bass, I tried to do it with the pick, because that's just the natural transition from guitar, because this is how you play guitar. So I tried it with a pick, and I just could not get it down. The strings were too thick. I kept getting a lot of pick noise on the winding of the strings. It just wasn't working. So I started playing my fingers, and it just sounded great. So, I just love how it feels playing with just my fingers, hearing that tone, getting that slap and that pull and everything. It just, to me, it's my heart and soul is in that instrument.
Definitely. And that's, and you can't fault anybody for that, because that's exactly where it should be.
He took to it very naturally. When I saw the progression just within weeks with him, it was really cool. You could tell it was a thing that he should be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's when you really notice it, is when it just feels so natural to just, it feels like second nature.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And, now I'm at the point where during my live set, I try to do as much, like, I'm a showman at heart. So like, when I'm playing the bass, I don't like to just stand up there like a statue looking at my neck and playing super accurately. I kind of take a page from the book of, like, Jimi Hendrix and Dimebag. It's like, if it's sloppy, who the hell cares? As long as you're putting your heart and soul into it and having fun. Like, I'm hitting all the notes where I need to hit them. Right. I hit a sour note here and there. I'm putting on a show, man. At the end of the day, and I put my all into it.
Hell yeah!
It's called sucking with style.
Exactly.
For sure.
Hey, it's Mark Maxwell at Maxwell's House of Music. Listen, all this stuff is now available to purchase on our website. Check it out at maxwellshouseofmusic.com.
We carry all the top brands, like Fender.
We got Gibson.
We also have basses.
We've got ukuleles.
We got drums.
We've got sound gear.
We've got keyboards.
It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast. We're on season 2, so you have a whole season to get weird with Frank Green and Scott Clark. The best part is there's always laughter.
Oh, yeah, you need to pull that out.
We have national touring comedians, NFL stars, rock stars, your local friends. It always gets weird. Weird answers.
Have y'all ever snorted coke off of a 78 Pinto? No? You ain't no man.
Weird questions.
Who had a bigger cocaine habit, Jock Sutherland or Kaywood Ledford?
Neither one, because they stopped beating their wives.
And weird we never even thought of.
Well, no. My friend is on acid, and I sent my friend to go find a payphone so that I can call and turn myself in for murdering this guy and ruin my life.
We love all types of people, but we don't love all people.
Weird. It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast, available everywhere. And thank you to Big X Sports Radio for being a proud sponsor of It's Gonna Get Weird. Frank Green, Scott Clark. Yeah.
So you guys recently had an album come out.
Yeah, our first one.
Absolutely. I love the cover of it. It's the skull and crossbones and the logo. It's simple, but it says a lot.
That's Ethan's artwork.
Nice.
Yeah, I do all of the design work, all the shirt designs. I did the logo for the band. I did the whole album layout and spread. It saves a lot on that end of everything as far as money goes, because we would have probably dumped a lot of money into everything that we've done if I didn't have the inclination for just art that I do.
Definitely.
It worked out for us.
So tell us about the album.
John?
The album is, I think, a really good first effort for us. We kept it very Austin, just local, as far as who we recorded with Russell Tanner. He actually, he works, where we jam. He records bands there. And I think he did a great job. He's not known for recording metal bands, but he sat there and listened to all my ideas, and he really took to it, man. I was very proud of him. I would say this album's, because we've already got a bunch of new songs, like mostly written for the next effort. This album is definitely going to be known as our, I'd say like a real thrash groove, all over the place kind of thing. And I don't mean that in a bad way, like all over the place, just meaning we said, let's just use anything we want to use. And some songs have, thrash like Slayer or Metallica influence, and some songs are more Danzig. Like you hear little outbursts of Pantera in there, and we even have one song that's like just a big European, almost Viking-ish death metal song.
Right on.
And and we're proud of that. We didn't sit there going, well, this is the kind of band we are. We play this way and blah blah blah. I was like, that's all the bands we listen to that are even mildly successful. They don't do that. I mean, like speaking of, I said Metallica a minute ago, they have Blackened, and then they'll have a Sad But True. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Nobody wants to hear the same song over and over and over.
Well, some metalheads will beg to differ on that.
Well, I will say they need to speak with their wallets if that's true.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I know a lot of guys that just rip albums off the internet and then say their opinion louder than everyone else, but they don't go buy anything. And all their favorite bands are dirt poor living in a van. So
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So you got to speak with your wallet, man, not let your favorite bands die because you're being an elitist.
Definitely.
But there's always going to be someone like that. You can't win everybody over. I mean, good Lord, I have no plans of trying to win everybody over. I I just want to be happy and do whatever comes out of us naturally.
Well,
I don't want us to go, today we're writing a speed metal song. Okay, here's the formula. I never want to do that.
Definitely. Well, I think that quote, winning everyone over, I think that's gone the way, of the dodo, I guess you could say, whatever. I think that's at some point has gone away because rock and metal is not the same as it was 40 years ago.
No, of course.
I mean, it's not even the same as it was 10 years ago, honestly.
The value of music is way less than it was 10 years ago.
For sure.
And everybody thinks everything should be free and given to them right now, and all the artists are suffering for it.
Absolutely. And I think, where the bands today have, you self-release this, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Like through CD Baby, which, goes out to all the other companies. Yeah.
For sure. So you're the publisher on this. You didn't rely on an independent label to do it. And even before the game of independent labels, they've always been there. But the thing about it is like, there's other major labels out there, and not necessarily when I say major label, by the degree of a Capitol Records or Sony or anybody like that. But I mean, think like in smaller terms, but still major places like Nuclear Blast, Sumerian, those labels. Even Metal Blade today is still on par as a major label, I would say. And if you're not having those guys push you, it can be very hard to attain anything. Very few people can do it.
Having backing of that level is, and it's like I said, people would say it's a two-edged sword, because number one, it ain't free.
True.
A lot of artists are like, oh, well, we got this and we got that. And I was like, yeah, keep an eye on all your bills, man. You're going to pay for it. It's not free.
Well, here's the thing, you kind of have two paths. You can go the path of the record label, which a lot of bands are kind of fixated on, because it's like, oh, you can say you're on a label, or you can have the they can distribute you a lot easier and get you to a wider audience. But it's not impossible to get anywhere without a label and independently. It's a lot harder, and it's a lot more of a grind. One band I respect the hell out of for not being on a label is Steel Panther. You see what they're doing. They're doing crazy amounts of stuff, and they're workaholics, man. They don't stop. And they're not on a label at all. So I'm not married to the idea of being on a label, as long as we get what we want out there to the right people.
Right.
It's true. And also something everybody needs to understand, the rock and roll, winning the lottery stories, that's what I would say they're called, but the dream come true. People go sign some little contract with a label, and the label's already in touch with, PR and booking and all these other companies that their friends are in bed with business wise. And those companies exist without the label as well. You can't be a band on Twitter and tell me you've never heard of all those PR companies that attack you every 5 minutes. It's nonstop. They're sending me messages. I don't even know if they're legit, because I get so many messages. It sounds like baloney, the way they attack you. And, but yeah, I mean, the PR companies are out there regardless of a label touching you. And, so are booking agencies. They're out there regardless. And we've been approached by so many people saying they want to do all this stuff for us. And, I don't think we're at the point of needing them yet, because, we've got to get our entire package the way we want it before we start trying to tour the world. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And which brings up what you had said a minute ago here with doing the first album to saying that you had multiple things written for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So run me through how the timeline works out for that. Was this all done during a shutdown, and you just held on to everything before releasing it? How did all this work?
Oh, well, Ethan, you can get on that one for the dates. I'm not good with that.
Well, so we had mostly everything written before the global shutdown. We had pretty much everything written. We were starting to play shows pretty early on. in 2020 before, everything got shut down. We played one show, I think, one or two shows in 2020. We played one in June when stuff started kind of opening back up, and then everything just went. So at that point, we just kind of decided, let's, while we're not playing shows, let's kind of focus on writing a couple more songs, get at least 8 songs, the bare minimum for like a full length release or whatever. And, let's record it. We had a guy, like John mentioned earlier, Russell Tanner. He recorded our album. He did a great job. And, we recorded actually at the music school where we rehearsed because one of our guitar players teaches there. So, yeah, we recorded during the whole COVID situation. And, from there, we just kind of decided like, okay, let's push this album. We'll get it released. And, from there, we'll start playing shows when stuff starts opening up. Excuse me. We released the album officially last year. October of last year is when we put it on streaming services. And then this February, I believe it was February or March. I can't remember. We had a physical release part.
Yeah.
So it was February. We had a physical release party. So we released, that's where we dropped the CD, which I was actually really surprised how many people showed up to that.
Yeah, that was a really cool show. And we, pretty much had a packed house. I don't want to estimate numbers because I like the image in my head of it being packed. That's all I'll say. But yeah, it was just a lot of people in a small place. So it looked really cool. But, yeah, man, I mean, we had the excitement we had over putting a CD out finally was way more than I thought we would have. And, we don't have big heads and we don't think of ourselves as, rock stars or any of that nonsense. So we just got our first payment for the downloads. And, it's all the companies, Spotify, Amazon, whatever, they all pay it, whatever service. And we got our first payment of that. And I was like, man, that's a good feeling. It's a little vindication, knowing that you put that work in and something's coming back.
Definitely.
And, and we love knowing that our next effort is already sounding, a little different than the stuff we already did. And that's what's getting me excited is that the next stuff, like we've already written some songs that one of them right off the bat is way thrashier. And, I got no problems with heavier and faster as long as it's, done right with dynamics.
Definitely.
But, yeah, man, I'm just real excited for the next thing. I already know how the first one ends,
For sure. So with the next group of songs, is there an idea in mind of when you want to try and have these done and out by?
Well, so our next single that we release, I really want to push to have a accompanying music video for it. A little difficult with our situation with our guitar player and his day job. His day job takes him all around the world, so he's not here for a good chunk of the year. But I would really like to push for to have a music video release with our next single, which there's no set in stone date for that at all. I would love to have something out by the end of the year, but that is me kind of wishful thinking.
And I mean, these songs are musically mostly complete. What is it? Was there like 5-6 songs already?
Yeah. We have most of the music written. We need lyrics, John. But no. I know. I'm just giving you shit. No, but musically, we have most of it written. We work pretty fast, and it's just a matter of fine tuning small things here and there. We pretty much have, I would say, 2 songs, 85 to 90% complete right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's coming along great, and I'm really liking the sound that we're getting out of it. It's a lot more, we're going for these songs that we've written so far. It's a lot more of a thrash, like John said, thrashy, fast kind of circle pit kind of feel to them, which I'm hyped about.
A little more, energetic.
Right on. I'm already looking forward to it now. I mean, because it sounds like it's going to be awesome.
I hope so, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's really exciting for me, to go in there and like when we're writing, we're all in the room together and we all throw ideas that, you can see everybody's face either curl up in pain or go, oh wow, yeah, let's do that. And they come from all of us. Like all the ideas are just bouncing all over the place. It's really cool. I've never been in a band before that did that. It was either me writing, 99% of everything, or me watching another guy write 99% everything.
Definitely.
And, it's like, that's how most bands work, unfortunately.
And that was going to be one of the things I was going to ask you is being the vocalist. Do you do you play guitar or anything else to where you could come in with a riff and such as well?
On my own, I can play all the instruments, but I'm not a great guitarist. I was a Hetfield worshipper when I was a teenager. So I'm I can play rhythms. My rhythm playing and singing at the same time are garbage now. But I do come in with ideas, and like I'll just say them. Like I'll even hum something at them, and they'll either use it or not. And it's gone both ways. I don't get all hurt about it if it doesn't work out. But I appreciate them listening to it, and very, very often they're like, "Oh," and then they put their spin on my idea, and it becomes our idea.
For sure.
And and that's really cool. That's why whenever we put out this debut album, the writing credits are on all of us because we all wrote. And as far as the lyrics, I wrote all the lyrics except for one. There's a song called Red Rocket. I wasn't going to say anything negative, but Ethan wrote Red Rocket's lyrics. I
wrote them in about 15 minutes. It's like the only lyric. Well, it's like the first time I've ever written lyrics for a song, and I was like, we have the name of the song Red Rocket already, so I was like, oh fuck it, I'll make it about a dog with a giant dick. And so that's Red Rocket's lyrics. They're extremely silly, extremely stupid, but that's the song that. A lot of people like hearing it live because it's more of a party song. It's got like a chanty kind of chorus to it.
Yeah, it's really fun. You can see everybody smile when we're playing it. And what's funny is when we know they don't know what we're talking about. So They have no idea what the lyrics are. They're just like, yeah, rock it. And it's like, oh man, wait till they read it later.
Right. And see, that's always the best is when you can do that.
It's hilarious. You're kind of, you're giving them a good show. You're giving them a good sounding song, but you're also kind of pulling a fast one on them. And, it's fun for us.
Absolutely.
And Ethan's hard on himself about that one. I mean, it's a funny, fun song. I'm not used to being in a band that has anything like that. And, so I had to jump into this. I was the last guy to be in the band. So I jumped in and, I had to catch up to what was going on already and try to fit in. And I think we started off much sillier than we ended up,
Right on. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com. Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter the code METALFORGE to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to the general profile questions. because I want to know where you guys are in the grand scheme of things with this. What was the last thing you watched on YouTube?
Oh, I can answer that. I watched, I think it was James Hetfield talking about, and this is not counting music I listen to. I'm just talking about the video.
Yeah.
I watched James Hetfield talking about why he likes how Lars does business. James says, I'm smart enough to know where I'm stupid. That's what he said. And he says, you don't have to be good at everything. You just have to be smart enough to hire the people that know what they're doing and have your interests at heart. And it was very insightful because, we all know people give Lars a bunch of shit. We know that.
Right.
But the guy, he was learning the business when he was a kid, touring around with Motorhead and stuff. Like he has experience like prior to Metallica just in the business part. And I didn't know about that. I knew he was around bands that became big in the US later. That's all I knew.
Right.
And apparently him and his life, like, it's been straight up metal the whole time. So it's like everybody gives him shit. They're like, oh, well, name any other drummer. They're like, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's not really the point, is it? It's like, whose songs are we humming?
True.
That's what matters. Whose songs are we humming, man? It's like, there's always going to be someone who's a virtuoso, but not everybody's a good songwriter. And that's why everybody talks about Dime Fest and not Steve Vai Fest.
Right.
That's just a fact. So.
For sure. Absolutely.
So, yeah. Hopefully that wasn't too long and rambly.
No.
What about you, Ethan? What'd you watch on YouTube?
It was completely fucking boring. How to install these seat covers in my car.
That sounds so sexy.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with watching those videos. I watch tool restoration videos and maker videos all the fucking time.
I will say, I love YouTube for saving me thousands of dollars on an electrician because my dryer stopped working, and I actually I just followed the knowledge around YouTube until I found out I needed to go check a breaker. I didn't know you were supposed to have to go check those things. I thought something would be obvious, but no, it ended up being a $4, $3 part I had to replace instead of hiring a guy to screw me over.
Right.
So I was like so blown away.
$200 an hour.
Yeah, some insane number for some $4 part,
For sure.
Oh Lord, but yeah, man. I love that stuff. I love useful things. I'm a big fan of useful things. So, I get you.
Definitely. So speaking of useful things, beer or whiskey?
Whiskey all the way.
Whiskey. I'm not a beer guy at all.
Do you have a particular brand of whiskey?
TX.
TX is
going to say the same thing.
TX is wonderful. I keep finding wonderful whiskeys, so that gets confusing. Like as far as the tip top for me.
We discovered a really good one recently at another interview we did. Iron Wolf. It's distilled here in Austin. It's fucking delicious.
Yeah, I literally was going to say that. You just got there faster than me. I was blown away. They got these flavors and stuff. So I was like, I'm not usually trying to flavor my whiskey other than like pouring a Coke with it. But man, like some of these companies are getting creative.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, but I was going to approach them and see if we could work something out. But a lot of whiskey companies, they're already tied into like country. And so, I don't know if they'd even want anything to do with us.
Well, hey, it's worth a shot.
It is worth a shot. It's always worth trying. To hear no doesn't kill you,
Sure.
I learned that lesson. I was that young, shy dude who, just couldn't bring himself to ask the girls to dance when I was much younger. And, I'm not that guy anymore. So I will walk straight up there and be like, hey, let's do this and let's do that. I'm not talking about girls, but I'm talking about, business wise. Like I don't keep my mouth shut.
Right on.
Yeah.
If you could relive any age of your life, what would it be?
Oh, damn. Man, I would say my early 20s because a lot of the things I've learned now would apply to that age a lot better.
Okay.
And yeah, I can make a lot smarter or even just more, focused decisions rather than being all over the place and being an emotional. When you're 21, you're usually just a bigger teenager, really, who can drink. So it's like being a drunk teenager didn't really help anybody. But yeah, man. I mean, I had a few things going on for me back then that I didn't take advantage of, and I really wish I could figure that out again. But I'm cool with where I'm at now. I just wouldn't mind having better hair. That's about it.
Right.
I'd probably go for early 20s also, just so I could drink and not absolutely fucking hate life.
Right. Like the next day. I've noticed as I've gotten older, it takes a little longer to recoup.
Yeah, the bounce back is not what it used to be, man. But
nope.
Yeah, you know what? That's okay. You just what you do is you just dump a bunch of Metamucil inside your whiskey, and
that just sounds awful on so many levels.
I'm going to assume it's terrible. It's a bad joke, but it's I would never want to try it.
I mean, and who knows? It could be like the next Jaeger bomb.
Oh my God. What would you call that? A retirement bomb or that's gross.
That is. It just sounds gross. I want to see videos of people doing this. Shoot them to me at metalforgeradio@gmail.com.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Metamucil and bourbon or whiskey. Whichever.
Any booze with Metamucil. I want to see what happens.
Right. What was your favorite TV show growing up?
Oh man, I'm gonna date myself you go first, Ethan.
Man, so I honestly wasn't allowed to watch a lot of TV growing up. My mom kind of sheltered the hell out of me. God,
is that why you're in a metal band now?
Probably. No, I think one of my biggest. I even had a cake devoted to this when I was a kid. I loved Crocodile Hunter, Steve Irwin.
Okay.
And was that the end of that answer?
That's the end of that answer. Like I said, I didn't watch a lot of TV growing up, man.
No, that's cool. I understand.
Dude was a badass. What can I say?
He really was. And it was very entertaining, but I was not that little when he was getting big. So for me, I was all about the ones that involved cars, man. I'm not even a car guy necessarily, but I kept getting drawn into the shows with cars. Like I loved Dukes of Hazzard and Knight Rider and good Lord, my brain just went dead. Any of those shows that had like a crazy car themed thing, and that and space stuff. I was all about this is way back, but like Buck Rogers and Battlestar Galactica.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean that's even like Buck Rogers. I think was on TV before I was even able to watch it.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
Those really cheesy physical effects, I was blown away by it. I loved it. It was so hokey. And if you go on, I think it's on probably something like Netflix or whatever, and you go watch Buck Rogers, they tried to make cars look like some sort of moon lander or something, or a spaceship, and the frame is just wiggling all over this car driving across the dirt. It's so bad.
Right.
It looks like I made it. But yeah, man, I mean, all that stuff is just, it's ancient history, but it's like they're still so fun just to watch those old things.
Definitely.
What about you? What were you watching?
Oh, me personally?
Yeah.
I was if it comes to like small child, He-Man and Masters of the Universe still.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I did watch a lot of that.
And
I love He-Man.
Ninja Turtles, obviously.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was really big into like Star Wars also. So
don't even get John and I started on Star Wars.
We're fans.
For sure, dudes. Hell yeah. What is your preferred media type for music? Vinyl, CDs, cassettes, MP3s? What's your preferred media type?
Well, mine simply for convenience sake, MP3 is just because I can listen to them whenever, wherever, and I don't need to fucking sit in my car and sort through a book of CDs or tapes just to find what I want to listen to. But as far I still do sometimes buy physical CDs. I don't even have a CD player in my car anymore. But I love having just a physical
something
CD,
real.
having the artwork. And my wife, she saw my CD collection and she put all the discs in the booklet and she's like, okay, let's throw away the cases. I'm like, the fuck you are. Like,
No.
I love my CD cases. I'm a sucker for the artwork and the sentimental value behind them.
I agree with you. No, nobody's throwing away the case.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't ever have a pile of empty cases going in a trash can. That's weird. But I would say, man, if I could make sure that I was getting a real analog recording on a record, I would love to have that record. But they're putting out phony baloney records now, and everybody's running around jumping on it. They're putting the same music with the same, or even the reissues. I mean, it's like digital remasters, and they're putting it on records.
Right.
And it's like, no.
You know,
I'm not some crazy audiophile, but I know what I don't want. And you can't explain to your kids or grandkids or whatever someday, like how that music kind of washed across you and made you feel a certain thing you just don't feel anymore until you hear that song. If you present it in a completely different way with a different EQing and compression and all these problems,
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That background noise sometimes makes that recording come back to you.
Well,
and eliminating the hiss to me is kind of an insult to Zeppelin and the Beatles,
And that's one of the things I've always enjoyed about CD collecting is all of my like thrash collection stuff, my Big Four stuff. I have the earliest possible CD releases I can find that I'm not spending like hundreds of dollars on. So, nowadays that's a hard thing to do, to get hold of like earlier releases. But I will say this, the first CDs I got my hands on, I was a tape guy way later than I should have been. My tapes, I didn't know that they're so heat sensitive, and I'd have them in my glove box in my truck, and the heat will make the sound horrible. Yes.
It'll be waves like, and I was like, what's going on? And everybody's like, you got to move on, man. You can't keep buying these tapes. I went and got Metallica's Kill 'Em All on CD, and I hated it. Absolutely hated it, because computers, and this is the way it was described to me by a guy who was a producer. The computers, they're deciding what's noise, so they throw it out. And these people are using, and this is back when it wasn't very good at all to record digitally. So they're just using the most basic cheap software to just bring that song into the digital age. But it wasn't good yet. So what happens is they made the guitars sound weak, like that sort of raw, hissy, edge that was there, that analog edge that was just, it's not pretty, but it's real.
Right.
They got rid of it. And so the guitars, instead of growling at you, were kind of like, and I was like, what is this? As a guitarist, I immediately heard it. And it was okay to put a CD in a CD player, but back then if you farted, the thing skipped.
Right.
So,
if you looked at it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the one thing about physicals that can be annoying, is that if you listen to them too much or you put them in the wrong player, you can fucking damage it and it'll just ruin the whole theme series.
Yep.
Oh, for sure.
Like I had Megadeth, Rust in Peace on a cassette, and I put it in my stereo once, and my favorite song, Tornado of Souls, it fucked the tape up. So anytime I put that on there, it just starts skipping and sounded like garbage, and I was so mad.
Oh, that's terrible.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called the Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is the Wrestling Steve Show. And I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
As always, links will be listed below, so please give these guys a like, a share, and a follow. Go buy merch. They got some awesome shirts on their website. They've got some the awesome album that you can buy on there as well. Do you guys have any shout outs you want to give before we go today?
Man, no one's ever asked me that before. Shout out.
Shout out to Russell Tanner for doing awesome on our debut album.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I wish I thought of that. But you know what? As far as shout outs go, I'm really, really I'm a big fan of anybody supporting each other in this industry. Big thank you to Brett Scarrett over in the UK, being the first DJ with the balls big enough to play us outside the US. And big shout out to Dominique Lousteau. Hope I said his name right, from Crescent City Gumbo. He was the first guy to put us on air outside of Texas.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I really appreciate that kind of love, and they're still playing us to this day. And I'm talking like it was a million years ago. But,
right.
Yeah, man, it's just like I could go on and on and on, and I don't want to shout out your show to death, but those little accomplishments mean a lot. So
yeah, they absolutely do. And whether it had been, absolutely. Whether it be, a local radio station, and I hate using that word, local, an independent radio station just sitting there playing you, or, a major media conglomerate playing it. It all means something.
And everybody should appreciate that stuff. Those little steps up, don't ever forget those. Ever. No matter how big you get, man, realize somebody had to show you to someone else.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's the stay humble mentality.
Man, I hope everybody stays humble. We meet some rock stars that they don't realize they're only stars in their mind.
Right.
You get a lot of that in Austin, man. You get a lot of local.
Oh, I'm sure, with South by Southwest and everything. So, final question of the day. What album changed your life?
Oh, man. For me, that was in stages. It's like, I can't say one album. I can't say one, because how do I explain that? I started off, my first jump into being really, really into music was actually the Rocky III soundtrack with Eye of the Tiger on it.
Right.
And I was blown away by that song when I was like 5 years old. I was like, oh my God. And I hope I'm saying the right movie and year, but I think I was 5 years old, rocking out with a little Fisher-Price tape recorder.
To Survivor, yeah.
Well, I was going to answer my part of that. What changed my life that I can, really kind of put a date on it, I guess, would be Megadeth's Countdown to Extinction. Because when I was I don't remember how old I was pretty young. I used to put that CD in my stereo in my bedroom on every single night. And that was like my first like metal album. So I'd put that CD on and I just listened to it over and over and over again. I got to know every single song on that album. And it really kind of pushed me into branching out. And, you know, then from there on, it was like I'd come home and I'd put, you know, Ride the Lightning in, and then I'd put Scumdogs of the Universe from Guar in, and it just kind of branched out from there.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And in that case, you know what? I'll say it's not the one that changed my life. I'll say it's the one that changed my direction. It will be the Black Album, even though that's not a popular answer, because that album pulled me out of hair metal.
Okay.
I thought Metallica was just making like noise and stuff. My little brother was ahead of me musically. Like he was listening to like Cannibal Corpse and Slayer and Napalm Death and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's just a bunch of noise. It's just a bunch of noise. And I was listening to Cinderella and Whitesnake, and I'm like, I thought in my mind, this is how it's supposed to be. And, you know, Metallica came along. They stopped being as thrashy for a second, and it did more of a groove thing. And that sucked me in. And, I remember everybody being just bonkers about that album, even no matter what they say now, they're lying. If they say, oh, nobody liked it, that's not true. It was just insanely successful, and the numbers don't lie. But
John says that like he and I have never sat in my car outside of a Buffalo Wild Wings singing Steelheart and Cinderella together.
I still like the stuff. I'm saying like it pulled me out of. I was just stuck in it though. I was in a musical.
I know. I was just giving you shit.
No, it was a good one. That was a good razz. but yeah, man, I was just stuck, you know, with teased hair and outfits and sparkles, I guess. And to this day, I still listen to all that stuff. But Metallica got me into the heavy stuff, and then from there, I went to Megadeth, Motorhead, Pantera. And good Lord, then, you know, of course, Pantera took me into a whole different direction of listening to, way, way, way edgier things like Cannibal Corpse, you know. And, I mean, I was just blown away by like the difference in the feeling I got from listening to songs like Sad But True by Metallica. And right before that, I was, you know, completely insane about like, Nobody's Fool by Cinderella. I mean, I'd put it on repeat and just analyze it for hours. It's like, man, this is really cool. I love this. How does he sing like that? And then it just goes on and on to all these heavy bands after that for me. And I love how those heavy bands helped me move into older heavy bands I had never heard of. You know, like really unknown stuff like Black Sabbath.
Right. Yeah.
I was never a big fan of all that really dark sort of, I don't want to say hippie stuff, but I wasn't a fan of that stoner thing.
The stoner doom stuff.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy into that. And I was like, you know, when I heard, oh man, what was it? I heard Planet Caravan by, but the Pantera version. And I had no idea it was a Sabbath song. And so I started, like, all these bands that were really heavy, they did something Sabbath-y or actually by Sabbath, and I didn't know. And I went and got, you know, I worked backwards from there, and I was blown away by Sabbath. And then they got me into Zeppelin. And, I mean, you know, everybody's got a story similar to that, I think, like where some band got them into another band.
For sure. Gateway bands.
Oh yeah. I mean, just blown away. I hate saying it over and over, but people know what I mean, I think.
For sure. Dudes, John, Ethan, thank you all so much this week. This has been awesome. Super rad conversation.
Thank you, brother.
Definitely.
Absolutely, man.
Definitely. Going to be looking forward to any time you all might go on tour and possibly make it up to the Louisville area, or if I make it down there, I'm going to catch you guys when I can. So, off of the album, what do you want me to play out today?
John, I think we're going to probably say the same song here.
Probably Rust.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, you guys heard it. This is from Bone in Austin, Texas. This is Rust. Hey, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. I want to take a minute to remind you guys about the Patreon page. Over on the Patreon page, we have the tiers set up to support the production of the show. We feature the Down and Dirty, which is just $1. There's nothing special for that one, it just sends me a thank you because every dollar helps. Then there's the Double Down and Dirty. Much akin to the Down and Dirty tier, everything helps produce the show in the end. You make your presence known, and I appreciate that more than you realize. Thank you for being a dedicated friend and supporter to the Metal Forge. By selecting that tier, you will receive some cool Metal Forge stickers in your mailbox. Now, we're really going to start pounding the metal madness with the Apprentice Metalhead for just $5 a month. By becoming an Apprentice Metalhead, you'll be given early access to the shows, published 24 hours before everyone else gets it. You're also going to receive 3 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You're also going to receive a 10% discount on all Metal Forge merch, and you're going to receive a sweet Metal Forge patch for your battle jacket or backpack. And now, here is the big one. This is the Master Metalhead for just $10 a month. By becoming a Master Metalhead, you will receive a hand-numbered Metal Forge Master Metalhead membership card. You're going to be given early access to the shows as well, with 36 hours before everyone else. You're going to receive 5 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You'll be able to submit audio questions that I will use on the show of you asking questions to the upcoming guests. Remember, timing is everything, and you will need to keep up with the upcoming guest list on the website. You're also going to receive advanced knowledge of any new merch coming out and be given a 25% discount on all Metal Forge merch. And you're also going to get all of the other rewards from the other tiers. So visit patreon.com/Metal Forge Radio today and help support the Metal Forge. Rock on.